Hello and welcome to another episode of Bailiwick Podcasts. In this episode, we will hear the story behind Jersey's first major indoor skate park. I'm Jodie Ettram and joining me is photographer Natalie Mayer. She's going to tell us how a long-abandoned church is going to become a vibrant cultural centre as well as a skate facility. From the challenges of navigating the bureaucratic planning process to the excitement of finally getting the green light, we will also discuss the impact of the recent closure of the town skate park and the need for more facilities for young people. Hello Natalie, it's
Hi,
really nice to have you in today. I'm really excited to talk to you about the journey of your project and your very exciting news that the indoor skate park has been approved, which is obviously amazing. So, if you could just start by introducing yourself and a little bit about what you do.
My name's Natalie and my full-time job is as a photographer, but a couple of years ago I took on the challenge of trying to make a community project come to life, and for that we formed a charity skate space, and we've been working on putting some skateboard ramps inside a disused church and creating something fun and interesting for young people.
Your charity skate space, when was that set up and what sparked the idea?
So I've always spoken publicly and done a little bit of writing about why I think skateboarding is good for the community and for young people, and as a result of that I was once the outdoor park had received approval, then we started looking for potential indoor spots to create a little indoor alternative for rainy days. And at first I went to look at a church in St Helier that I knew was sitting empty, St Simon's, and we couldn't get St Simon's for our project, but through looking at that someone from the government got wind and knew that there was an opportunity in St One where the trustees of the Trode Chapel were looking for potential users. So I got taken to Trode and was absolutely amazed that this incredible space had sat basically empty and or just as storage for the last 40 years. So I put forward the ideas that we could put some ramps in there and make it an inviting space for young people. And they said, sure, yeah, go ahead. You'll need to get a change of use for planning. I asked someone what that was and they said, oh, it's just a couple of forms, I think. And 2 years later, we've just got our permission. In that process, then we set up the Skate Space charity to keep this moving forward.
What sort of people are involved with the charity?
Basically anyone that I can rope in. So there's lots of people that want to make this happen. And the co-governor of the charity is Michelle Smith. She's a teacher and she's got kids who skateboard, and she's generally interested in creating good things for young people as well. And then we've got other people from the community: fireman, paramedic, plumbers and electricians. Wow. And basically anyone with skills that we can bring into the project to help us out.
You mentioned that it was important to have an indoor skate park for users when it's rainy, which is a first for Jersey. Has there been an indoor skate park?
Well, there's been little versions of things in the past. So in Aquila Youth Centre, and I think sort of the early 90s, they used to have a ramp and some pictures float around of that. And then, just little bits and bobs. And obviously we knew that in the past they got well used, and they would still get well used now if only we could make them happen. So,
but nothing really on this scale.
No, nothing on this scale, yeah.
You mentioned that it was also going to be used as a community space, maybe have some sort of creative workshops going on in the space as well.
One of the things that I've always liked about skateboarding and where my interest comes from is because I'm a photographer, and photographing skateboarding, there's a big kind of industry behind that, and also with skateboard filmmaking, and a lot of the kids who are skateboarders in Jersey are making their own films, they're shooting their own photos, but there's not much of an outlet for that work at the moment apart from their Instagram feeds. So we want to set up a little editing suite for them there where there's a good computer that they can use good software to edit, and they can put their videos out. It'll help motivate the scene to create really good work, and we can bring people from the industry over to run little workshops to help just up level that work that they're doing and give them a nice platform for showing it. And we can run little premieres in the skate space and generally just make it fun and inspire people to push their creativity harder and make something even better than what they're making now.
It seems obvious, but I wonder if you could explain a little bit more about why it's so important for young people to have this space for community activities, creative activities, and to learn new skills and to practice a sport.
Well, firstly, I think that skateboarding is really important, but I just think getting together is really important. Skateboarding is just the way that I see it works really well, but I think that lots of projects like this are needed across the island. It's no secret that our young people don't have a place to go. I live at St Brelod, and I've often seen kids hanging about in the foyer of the HSBC there one evening, and I'm sure that's annoying to HSBC, but where else do they go? In the past, we had Fort Regent and we could gather there, but we just don't have that option anymore. So literally, I don't know where kids are supposed to go when it rains. And I don't have the solution for all kids, but I just had one idea that'll suit some kids. So I felt it was really important to push forward with that, and hopefully will inspire some other projects to get going as well.
Obviously the venue is out west, so it would be great, to have something else in town.
It would be, yeah.
For other kids.
I think as a first point of making something like this, I thought it should be in town, and that's why we first started looking. But obviously empty buildings that we can afford to access don't come up very often, so we took what we could. And we know that it's going to be popular because we've already got so many people interested. And hopefully just even showing it's possible and understanding the process it took to get us there, and we can share that with others, then will inspire more people.
Exactly. And I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about the space.
So basically the space is a big empty room. We've made it look a bit nicer. We've cleaned it up quite a bit just to make it as best we can. But the idea was never to have an absolutely perfect space. It's always going to be quite basic and raw, I think is probably an appropriate word. But we don't think young people mind that. They just want a roof over their heads. We've been offered the use of the ramps from the St Helier Park, which is sadly recently closed. We didn't want to take anything from town, but at the same time, if those ramps were just going to go into storage, then it seemed obviously better to put them into use somewhere. So we've actually got those ramps up there at the moment, and we've got a few things to finish off on the building, and then we'll start erecting them. We should be able to get the project going in some kind of form. The ultimate idea is that we want to have a bespoke ramp set up, and we need to fundraise more for that, and that'll be something then that will be more enduring. But for the time being, we should be able to get something set up fairly soon up there.
You mentioned it took almost 2 years, sort of the entire process. I wonder if the project sort of evolved over this process, or is it pretty similar to the idea you had from the outset?
I think the core idea is still the same. Right in the beginning, there were some unanswered questions about how will it run, and how will we fund it, and who will the users be, and that's all taken shape really nicely over the past couple of years. So what's been interesting for me is that you can start a project without necessarily being able to answer every single question, and the answers will come, and they did. So we've managed to Skateboard Jersey has formed, which is kind of a coaching entity, and they're helping us train up people so that we have a big user base of people who can coach within the space, and we hope that those coaches will be key holders to the space so they can access it with lots of different user groups. Then we want to collaborate with the schools, and that started to take shape, and we've got La Passerelle School who are doing skateboard lessons at the moment, and that's really successful, and we hope to continue with them within the space so that they feel really at home there, and it's a really inspiring spot for those kids to come. And for those children as well from La Passerelle, they talked about, is there some way of giving the children a certificate or something like that so that they can feel rewarded for what they're learning? And certificates in skateboarding wouldn't really exist, and it felt like, that feels like school, but it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like what the motivating factor behind skateboarding is. But then we thought, maybe we could do video making with those children, and they'll film each other, and then we can bring them to the edit suite and they can learn how to edit, and their award or reward then for what they've done is that they make clips of themselves and learn another skill. And generally it's more of a rewards through working for things that they really want to have. So we hope the space will be able to kind of create a really nice full picture for them.
So you mentioned sort of school groups will be users. What other different user groups do you envisage using the space?
So ideally, the way we want to run it is that we'll have a lot of different key holders, and those key holders will book sessions for their user groups. So we're not going to have someone sat there on a till and anyone can just come, because it can't work like that. It has to be a little bit more structured, but also we want it to be a real social network. So you join a group and then you persuade your group leader to go and open a door for you, and you all go there together and you get to know each other really well, and it becomes a supportive multi-age user groups basically. So at the moment we've got about 20 potential key holders. They've been trained up as skateboard coaches, and it's just a diverse range of different people, different age groups. Some of them are the really good skateboarders, some of them will be beginner groups, some of them will be specific girl groups. I'm sure they'll end up with some over 40s groups. and then school groups and different people like that. We were also looking at working with different charities who might find it really useful to have beginner introductory sessions for the people that they support.
I saw a huge outpouring of public support on social media.
It's been really positive. Sometimes there's been questions, but we've already known the answers. And one of the things that I think's worked for us is that we've got a few different people communicating about the project and actually trying to answer people's questions. So something that a lot of people seem to be worried about was the graves and would the outdoor space be looked after. And from our perspective, we would love to look after the outdoor space because it's the potential to make the project more beautiful. So in being able to talk about those people with families in the graves and saying, are you interested in joining us in perhaps renovating the outdoor space and spending some time making it more beautiful and maybe putting some picnic benches out there and creating something that's nice for all the community. And then that also has the potential to bring older people to the project to see what we're doing and to just integrate the different age groups so that everyone can appreciate this space and work together to create something nice.
Was there any comments from sort of young people in particular that might have struck you, or is there any feedback that was particularly insightful or interesting?
I think one of the nicest things to read was people who had been into skateboarding in the past and then kind of fallen out of it and had gotten more interested in it again through the new outdoor park, and had just said, yes, this is like changing my life. I feel so much better. I'm being more sociable. I want to be out there, and we need something to keep us going through the winter because the outdoor park on wet days isn't usable. So just that general, it was really motivating to hear from people directly saying, I really want to be able to access what I've got now through the winter months as well, and that it would help them and it helps their mental health and it helps keep them sociable.
For sure, it's got so many benefits obviously in terms of physical and mental health. I was reading a study the other day by Statistics Jersey that found 2/5 of young people feel lonely often in Jersey. On top of that, there's statistics about childhood obesity being high in Jersey, and young people are struggling with, as you said, not having a space to socialise. So I think this project covers a lot of different bases, and it isn't just for those who want to skateboard, as you say. They can learn videography classes or just have a sort of community space there. So I think it's such a positive
hopefully
initiative.
We'll do photography exhibitions as well and art exhibitions, and we know there's a lot of people within that youth culture just doing general kind of artwork, and it's potentially there's room for everybody to come and get what they want out of the space, basically.
And that is a very empowering thing, for people to be able to create their own culture and to hang out with like-minded people. I think that's really important.
I do feel it's really lacking in Jersey. There's a lot, obviously when you're over 18 you can go to bars, although they're also dwindling, but for under 18s there's just not that much potential. Maybe if you're into the very mainstream sports, or if you're into tennis and football, then it's a bit more catered for, but for people that have got a bit of an alternative outlook, then we just need to help them out a little bit, create something nice.
So the town skate park by the harbour, that closed in December, was it?
Yeah, that's the ramps have just been taken down from there. Some of them are up at the skate space now, and some of them I believe will go into storage, and they hope that another spot can be found. They need, if anyone's got outdoor areas with flat ground that they want to put some of those elements from the park in, then they should get in touch with me and I'll tell them who to speak to, because I know they were seeking a place to put those ramps, basically.
So they're all going to be reused, all the
that's the hope. I think there's been a struggle to find places that they could be put, but there was an intention to reuse them.
So now there's no skate park in town. I understand that an application went in a while ago for a new skate park at Mount Bingham. Was that right?
On South Hill.
Yeah. So I wonder if you know much about that process, what sort of stage that is at the moment.
Info which is available to the public is a bit scarce on that at the moment. I'm not even sure if the planning application has gone in yet. We have been told it's being worked on and that there is a solid intention to put something there, but we don't know when that's coming, and I think that is a real shame for St Helier kids with the popularity of Lekeneve and the fact that those children who are at Western schools just roll out of school and go straight to the skate park. That needs to be accessible to everybody, because we know we've got these problems with obesity, and we know that this is one thing that keeps a lot of kids busy, and it needs to be accessible to everybody.
I think that one issue with, the amazing Lekeneve skate park was that it didn't have floodlighting, which meant that it was less accessible for people. I think that's now been installed or is going to be installed. So
we've heard it's going to be installed, but My child is one of the ones that rolls out of school to use the skate park, and he can't at the moment, so I know they're not there yet.
Okay.
And they're still waiting. Yeah, it just seems like everything takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And from an adult perspective, that time is just how long it takes. But from a kid's perspective, they were promised those floodlights at the beginning when the park opened, basically, and then they were said, the floodlights will be installed before the winter, and then nothing arrived, and now they've been told the floodlights will be installed at the end of winter, and I don't know if they will be. No one trusts what we're told anymore, because I think the communication is sometimes a bit of a shame, because children really hang on to these promises and they're waiting for them, and 6 months in a kid's life is a long time. They just start to think, the adults aren't very trustworthy, we can't and it stops them then from engaging in the process in the future, which is upsetting, because we want society to engage and feel like they have a say and that they're heard. And we need to start that from a young age, I think, and keep promises to children.
One facility that has been recently installed in town is the skate-friendly street furniture in Lennian Park. I wonder if you could explain to me what the difference between a skate park and skate furniture is.
So one of the things about skateboarding is that they'll skateboard wherever an element finds itself to be suitable, and the idea with the street furniture is that you create something which is suitable in a suitable location, instead of the skateboarders just going wherever they happen to find something. So they've put a rail and a slidable ledge at the back of Millennium Park, and I believe it's really popular. The kids are really happy with it, and it's just another spot they can go and have a good time. It's not a replacement for a proper big park, because it's really accessible to more advanced users. And the skate park at Le Kennevet has beginners all the way through to advanced, so they need something that is also accessible to beginners in town. But it's a lovely little element to make town a bit more fun and just bring a bit of interest into their lives. Is
that something you'd like to see more of, or do you think that a park is the priority at this stage?
I think they should prioritise getting the park done, but I mean, everything really.
Everything else, for sure.
Wouldn't like to prioritise anything. I just think let's make St Helier more fun, and make it feel like more of a community space where people are out and feel welcome to be doing things in the space. They could put things in for little bits of bouldering walls and things for parkour, and just generally make town more playful and fun.
So just looking forward now, what are sort of your hopes and goals for Skate Space in the coming months? Obviously, you're going to be setting up the space, installing the ramps. But sort of what are your hopes for the future?
We've got lots of different little things that we need to get done within the building. Our main aim right now is to line up with sponsorship so that we can fund these things that need to be done. So we're kind of talking to people in the community about the project and spreading the word. And we've had some success with people coming forward saying, like, understanding the aims behind the project and wanting to help us move it forward. And we also want to collaborate with businesses that can potentially help us, either with a bit of manpower or just financially as well. So that's the aims at the moment, is to get the funds in that we need.
So how have you received the funding? Is it mainly been from the government, or has it been from businesses financing you, or has it been from local people donating money, or is it sort of a mix of all of them?
To help us get through the planning process, we were supported by the Government Connect to Me Fund, which is a really great scheme that helps small projects basically get things off the ground. So that was incredible timing for us, is that just started up just as we were sort of hoping to get going. And then ongoing, we're hoping to line up perhaps with finance businesses who do charitable donations and the different grant givers on the island as well.
So if people want to find out more about the initiative, or if people are considering, making a donation or wanting to volunteer for you or get involved in some way, how would people find out more?
We've got a website, skatespace.org, and that's got our email address on it. And all those emails come through to me and Michelle, and we'll reply to anyone straight away. We've had a few nice contacts recently. We were looking for someone to help us digitally, and someone's got in touch, and another person's got in touch saying, I know you want a landscape outside, and I'm studying landscaping, and perhaps I can come and help with that. So it's those kind of things that mean the world to us then, and we'll make proper plans. And then, so with the outside landscaping, we hope this person will do us a nice design for what is possible, and then we'll seek the funding to make that happen, and we'll bring people in from the community to do the work. And generally the whole idea, even the build of the project, is about bringing people together and getting everyone collaborating to create something for the greater good.
I think that's so nice how this community space that's been sat unused for 40 years, and now bringing in so many different sections of the community, bringing them together. And I think that is just such a nice and
I think sometimes when people think, oh, skate park in church, how awful, how like against the aims of the original intention of the space, but in fact I feel like it's exactly in line with the original intention of the space, which is a place for people to come together and collaborate and make something nice together. So I feel like really at peace actually with what we're doing there, and that and also the congregation that practice in the church behind where our project will be are also happy with us, and they want to see their space come to life, and they want to see young people about. So
just wanted to say finally, like, congratulations, and you've obviously worked so hard on this, and you and your team should be really proud of this initiative. I think it's going to be really positive, and it's going to make a lot of young people happy. So
thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you so much for coming in today to chat with me. It was really nice to meet you and to chat to you.
Thank you, and you too.
So thank you so much. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Bailiwick Podcasts. I hope you enjoyed hearing more about how the church will become Jersey's first ever major indoor skate park. If you're interested in getting involved with Skatespace or want to learn more about the project, you can visit their website on skatespace.org.